What is up, y'all? So good to see you. This is Jeff Lightsey, Christian Worldview, where we think about things from a Christian worldview. It's pretty much in the name. Have you thought recently about how little sense things are making? And it seems to make less and less sense as we go on, right? It's just like what happened here? What happened? You remember whenever you were kids and you have your guns, right? They used to allow those things, and you would have your guns and you'd be playing with somebody, and you're like, I shot you, and they're like, no, you didn't. And you're like, yeah, I did. They're like, no, it grazed by. It's like, and it grazed by. You didn't shoot me. I shot you, right? And it's like that's what's going on now. Is we got a whole bunch of people running around being like, no, that's not what it is. It's this, it's that, it's this. And it doesn't make any sense. It's nonsense. I read a verse the other day that made a lot of sense about the time that we live in. It's from Romans 1. And this is one of the great things about the Bible, of how it speaks to us. I can't tell you how many times I have read Romans, many times. And then here, reading through again, and then boom, this pops out of like, wow, this is precisely what we're going through. Romans chapter 1, Paul is talking about how the world got to the state that it's in, right? He's laying these things out. This is where we fell short. This is where we needed God. And it's talking about people following after their own passions and putting God aside. And let's just read a little bit, okay? Romans 1:18. Tell me if this doesn't make sense. For God's wrath is revealed from heaven against all godlessness and unrighteousness of people who by their unrighteousness suppress the truth. By their unrighteousness suppress the truth. What verse is this? 23. 22. Because 23 is like in the middle of a sentence, and that's just, okay, so 22. Claiming to be wise. Oh, hey. They became fools. Why did they become fools? And exchanged the glory of the immortal God for images resembling mortal man, birds, four-footed animals, and reptiles. Now you might say, well, we don't really have idols anymore. We don't really do that stuff. Not in the way that it was done back then, right? We don't have that image of some bird man type creature that we're bowing down to and putting the candle up there and lighting the incense and doing all that business. But an idol is something that you worship. And we certainly do worship other things. And particularly it says, for images resembling mortal man. That's what we worship these days. By we, I mean our society, our world, our culture. We worship man, but that's not inclusive. So we worship people, humanity, right? We worship this flesh. It's what I want to do. It's what makes me feel good. Well, what about God? What about all these things that are in here? That's just mean. That's just mean. So let's think about this for a second. Let's just think. Because our world's going to this place where you got to be nice. That's what the thing is. Like, you got to be nice about stuff. And to say that people are suppressing truth, that's not nice. How can you say that? What about these people who really think that their truth is actual truth? Who are you to say that it's not truth? So let's think about this. I got here, this is a football, right? Football. Let's say you're playing a game out there on the field. Ref comes in and is like, oh, okay, we got this Joe over here. He wants to play, but he doesn't want to play football, you see. No, he wants to play soccer. So just whenever he gets the ball, whenever it's that way, just let him kick the football around like a soccer ball and keep him happy, you know. Because Joe wants to play, but he doesn't want to play football. He wants to play soccer. So let's let Joe play soccer, and we'll just put up with it, right? And it's going to be okay. Tolerance is the thing. That's nice. How do you play like that? Okay, this is a exercise in thought, right? So let's say you're going through, you're playing the game. Joe gets the ball and he's kicking it around like a soccer ball, and everybody else is like, what do we do now? And then the coach comes in and is like, hold on. We got Susan over here. Susan wants to play football, but really she doesn't want to play your kind of football. She instead wants to hit it like a softball or a baseball. So whenever she gets it, just she has a bat. I would watch out around her, just putting that out. But whenever, just toss the ball her way. Sometimes let her just hit the thing. What's going on, right? We got to let Joe do his thing. We got to let Susan do her thing. And meantime, what's happening on the field? You were there to play football. Now what's being played? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. But you know what? You're being nice to people. So that's a good thing. What's going on with our society and our culture? We have to let people do what they feel is right and good, and all of this life then is just, well, we got to be nice. You got to let people do what they want to do. You can't tell them that they're wrong, because that's not nice. That's not loving. And so then you have this world, you have this society of people just going and doing whatever it is they want and what they feel is good, doing what is right in their own eyes. And then you're not living. You're just you're not, you're just going around and being servants of the devil. That's what. Because what this book, this mean, judgmental book tells me, we go back to Judges, way back when in Judges. And they didn't have a judge at the time. And it says that people did what was right in their own eyes. Some very, very ugly things going on by what was right in their own eyes. And so we look around now and we say, well, we're nice now. Like, now we know how to be good to people. We don't need this Bible to tell us that you can't do this and you can't do that. Like, we know how to do these things. Just let's look around and see. How many children are being aborted, murdered just within our country? That's cruelty to a crazy level. And that all started with this idea of eugenics, right? Way back, this idea of eugenics, that we can make a better, more perfect race. That's where abortion really stems from. I'm sure abortion's been around for ages, but our society, our culture, that's where it really caught on. That doesn't seem very nice. We have biological men who are competing in sports with biological women, and the reason that there's a sports category for these biological women is so that they can have a competition. And now you have these biological men coming in and people saying, well, there's really no difference. And it just blows my mind. How can you say that? Because if you don't, then it's not nice. Well, what about these ladies these girls who have worked hard their entire life to be able to run and sprint and do these things. What about them? Are you being nice to them? No. So where are we? Where are we with that? And it's really interesting that being nice really generally just goes one way, right? We got to be nice to people and to things that really don't make sense. What about, let's be nice to the Christians who say that these things are wrong. Nope, we can't do that. Because those people, they're the problem. Well, that doesn't seem very nice. But here it is. Let's read this again. Romans 1:18. By their unrighteousness suppress the truth. Verses 22 and 23. Claiming to be wise, they became fools and exchanged the glory of the immortal God for images resembling mortal man, birds, four-footed animals, and reptiles. Verse 24, therefore God delivered them over in their desires of their hearts. God said, okay, you got it. And what happened? Sexual impurity. Oh, wow. Idolatry, depravity. These are the things that happen when we just let people do what they want to do. And we don't have any firm ground to say, no, look, we're playing football. If Joe wants to play soccer, great. You know what? After the football game, we'll pull out the soccer ball and play some soccer. Susan wants to play softball, great. After the soccer game, then we'll go to the softball field and play some softball, right? But you can't just do everything and pretend like what you're doing is actually something. You're doing nothing. We have this mandate, this truth to stand on. So if the world doesn't make sense to you, don't worry, because the world doesn't make sense. And that's part of the need of the gospel. That's part of the greatness about the gospel, is that we can be saved from all of that. And we can come to God and we can know the truth. With all of that going on, I have just been realizing more and more the importance of God's laws and His commands and just how good they are. God's laws are so good. And so then we as Christians stand firm on the truth, even when no one else is. We have the truth, and we need to stand firm, and we need to be that light and that example. Not the ones out there hollering, get Joe off the field, but just standing in our truth and letting people know, I will not be moved. This is where I stand. All right, I love you. I hope that was encouraging to you, and we'll see you again soon. Until then, the Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make His face to shine upon you. The Lord be gracious to you. The Lord lift up His countenance upon you and give you peace. Amen.